For more, we're joined now by Juan David Valez, who is political coordinator for Alvaro Uribe's Centro Democrático party abroad. He joins us from Miami. Thank you for speaking with us here on France 24.
Thank you very much for having me on the TV.
The vote was unanimous in the lower house on Wednesday, but that's because your party boycotted proceedings. Why didn't you vote?
We didn't vote because we think that this deal is the same as the one that it was rejected past October 2nd. It is important to understand that the people of Colombia vote on October 2nd and say no to agreement that didn't reflect a real peace that every Colombian wants at this moment. So what we did, we won on October 2nd, and we represent 6.5 million people that actually vote for the no deal the past October 2nd. This new deal, it didn't change anything. It's a copy-paste of the previous deal.
But there are some changes. For instance, the commitment from the rebels to forfeit assets acquired through drug trafficking. There are also moves to help better compensate victims. It's not a copy-paste exactly.
Well, when you see overall, you see that 90% of the deal, it is exactly the same of the previous one. However, the most important topics, they didn't change. What are the topics that we need? The people actually from Colombia request to be changed. The people from Colombia want that the people that have committed criminal war acts have to go to jail. In these new deals, there is no jail for the people of the FARC. There is direct position at the Congress, 5 in the Senate, 5 in the lower house, in order to have a representation without even paying any time in jail. We see some changes on the New Deal, but not the points that are the most important for the Colombian people. We asked the government, we asked the FARC to have a Colombian big deal that reflects all our concerns, all what they want, but they didn't want. The Congress just voted yes, and of course we didn't want to vote no because it doesn't reflect what the people of Colombia actually voted on October 2nd.
Juan David Valez, we've done shows about this, and we've spoken with victims, we've spoken to people such as former hostage Ingrid Betancourt, and they agree with you on some of the points, especially impunity. But they say it's kind of a feeling that you have at some point to strike some kind of compromise so that we can get out of this cycle of war.
Yeah, but at the beginning you mentioned that this is a civil war. There is no civil war in Colombia. This is a terrorist group, and also it is the biggest drug cartel in the world. We need to understand that these people are supposed to pay 40, 80 years in jail. We are willing for them to pay less, 5 years, 6 years in jail. And they can actually go and do politics. We're fine with that. But the process of stopping violence in Colombia doesn't have to be giving awards to the terrorist group. It has to be giving justice to the people of Colombia. Even though we agree that even if they pay a little bit of time jail, they can go after that to the Senate. At this point, in 2018, we can see that Timochenko, the leader of the terrorist group FARC, can be a presidential candidate, and we disagree with that.
His chances of winning, you'll agree, would be very slim. Juan David Valez, let me ask you. The insurgency began in the 1960s because a lot of impoverished peasants were fed up. As you say, it did, to a certain degree, morph into drug trafficking. Now, what's the plan? What is your party's plan to make sure that those impoverished people in rural areas have an alternative to drug trafficking?
Well, unfortunately, with this new government of Santos, we passed from 49,000 hectares from cocaine plants to 200,000. We have the same amount of cocaine in Colombia that 2001. That worries us because the drug cartel is controlled by FARC. So we don't know what's going to happen with the people that are actually planting all these coca plants. We agree that we need to do something about the cocaine process in Colombia. We were doing it very well from 2002 to 2010. All the statistics show that Colombian producer was lower in 2010. Unfortunately, we don't know what's going to happen because FARC can now go to the Congress, but on the New Deal, it doesn't show any action against drug trafficking and coca crops.
Juan David Valez, one final question on that point. As a supporter of former President Uribe, what are your thoughts with President Trump arriving? Will he be better or worse for Colombia than President Obama?
Well, I'm pretty sure Donald Trump will be very worried when you see that terrorist group, drug cartels, are giving position to the Congress of Colombia and not representing what the people of Colombia actually want, that they need to pay some jail. So I'm pretty sure Donald Trump will take some position that will reflect what the Colombia people actually want and what they voted on past October 2nd, saying that the drug cartels cannot be going to Congress of Colombia and having power like they are already going to have with this New Deal.
Juan David Valez of the opposition Democratic Center Party, many thanks for joining us from Miami.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Meanwhile, the Greek